right now.
Go.
I'm Derek McCoy, and we're here at my residence
Okay, and where do you live?
in Portal, Arizona.
Okay. So, we've learned that the specific charges of transportation for financial gain were filed in federal court, and some of the information of what the police, what Border Patrol has said about you, include that two of the illegal aliens said that while they were in your vehicle, they they said that they would pay you $200 if you would drive them somewhere for food. So what do you want to say to that?
I would say to that, I was trying to keep the illegal immigrants at a calm state inside of my vehicle so that I wouldn't get injured or my dog inside the vehicle. So I was trying to keep those illegals safe inside of the vehicle, and I say that they got their facts wrong there because I said that they were asking me to take them to Tucson. And I just said, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just trying to keep the illegals calm inside of my vehicle.
Did you ever hear the figure $200 at all?
I've heard it from Border Patrol and from the reports and stuff like that, but not from the words of the illegal immigrants that were inside of my vehicle. Well, from the one that spoke English, I should say.
So basically, you just had them in your vehicle for how long altogether? About?
I had them in my vehicle for a range of between 3 and 5 minutes.
Okay. And then, so then the other thing is that you had explained elsewhere that, you know, as soon as the first all the Border Patrol agents were coming toward you from the direction of Highway 80, and you were driving towards Highway 80, and then as soon as the first one went past you, explain what happened and your conversations.
One Border Patrol officer passed me in an SUV, and then another border. There's more oncoming Border Patrol, and as soon as that Border Patrol officer passed me, I pulled over on the side of the road and opened my vehicle door and stood out in the middle of the road to stop the next oncoming Border Patrol, which was an undercover Border Patrol agent. Once I found that out, she was in an unmarked vehicle. And then once I did that, I stopped and I spoke with that agent, and then the one that was behind me pulled over and got behind to the side of my vehicle on the passenger side and was looking in the back of the vehicle at this time that I was speaking with the undercover agent.
So what did you say to the undercover agent?
I told her that there was 4 illegal immigrants up there on Bear Springs Road, and that I encountered them and that I have them in the back of my vehicle.
Okay, and once again, when you saw them, what was your reaction in seeing them coming toward you?
It was relief that Border Patrol was there that soon because I had plans for the day and I needed to get to my plans, and this was an interruption to my day.
Okay, so later on, you've heard that the Border Patrol is saying that you did not tell them you had illegals in your vehicle, but instead you told them that you had not encountered illegals. What do you say to that?
I say that's a false statement from Border Patrol because I did outright tell that lady she had a backwards hat on. I do not know her name. I just know that she had a backwards hat on and she was in an undercover marked agent vehicle.
Okay, and then they also say that you told the illegals in your vehicle, get down, when you saw Border Patrol. Is there any truth to that?
That is not a true statement. I didn't say anything to the illegal immigrants as far as just telling them, yeah, okay, that I was going to take them to Tucson to keep them calm inside my vehicle.
So when you saw all the Border Patrol agents coming toward you, and what was the number you said you thought you were coming toward you?
In the range of 10 to 15 vehicles and multiple people in each vehicle. I couldn't tell you how many was there.
Okay, so when you saw them all coming, did you say anything to the illegals about that, about what was going on?
No, I wasn't. I did not speak to the illegal immigrants about Border Patrol or anything like that.
You just stopped the vehicle and got out?
Yeah, I stopped the vehicle and got out and shut the driver's door behind me because I always shut my door because my dog was in there and I didn't want my dog getting out.
Okay, so then we talked elsewhere about the kind of ordeal that you went through, and it, went on for several days, and then at a certain point, tell me your relationship with this public defender from the very beginning, and how when you first met the public defender, what he said to you, and everything that transpired, more or less.
The public defender, when I first met him there in the federal courthouse, he was. He seemed to be a very good lawyer, and he seemed to really have a head on his shoulders and really be for me. and was really understanding, and he really was able to speak forth to my case and give me factual things that I needed to know about my case. And then once I left that courthouse and I came home with John and Connie, he's very distant from me, and he is very hard to get hold of. And I understand he has a schedule and everything, but in emails and stuff, he after a few emails, he sent me a plea agreement, and kind of made it seem like I wanted me to take this plea deal. And in this plea deal, it was wanting me to be guilty, and I'm not guilty of this crime. And I did not understand the basis of the plea deal, so I kept asking him in emails about this plea deal. And he wouldn't email me back for a little while, and it'd take him several days and several emails before I could get a hold of him. And he just told me that he was coming up today, the 7th, to talk about the plea deal. And that's what he came today and talked to me about.
So when he came today, what did he tell you?
Today he made the plea deal seem like a very good idea, and made it seem like we wouldn't stand a chance in the trial process if we would go to trial, and was giving me all of these percentages of how many people go to trial in the federal courthouse, how many win, and was making it sound like I'm very guilty of this crime, and was trying to make me feel guilty by telling me all this, and trying to sugar the deal by saying I'll only get 3 years of probation, and I'll just get wrote off with this case, and it'd be totally fine if I just plead guilty, and it'd be fine and everything. But he never really wanted to hear stories, factual stories from eyewitnesses of the crime, and he did not want to hear my statement about the crime, and he didn't want to hear my side of it, of what was really going on.
So did he make it clear to you that if you did not take the plea deal, what would happen?
He made it clear that I would spend time in prison if I did not take this plea deal. That I would be for sure seeing prison time.
Okay, and what was the basis that he made you feel that you should take the deal rather than just having an advantageous penalty of probation rather than prison time? Why would it be an advantage to plead guilty?
He said it'd be an advantage because it'd be done right away, and I could get started on my probation, and it'll only be a 3-year probation period. And he was saying that there's no gun charge for my pistol that I drew in the plea deal, but he said that that's going to be brought up in the trial basis, is that could be a charge thrown in there, kind of as a threat, as I took it, is that there'd be more charges added if I'd go to trial.
So did he ever seem to believe you that you were just innocently removing these illegal aliens from the next door property to try to get them, to prevent them from doing any harm to people?
He never cared to hear my story about that.
So did he tell you you would or would not have a felony conviction if you pleaded guilty?
If I pleaded guilty, he'd let me know, yeah, I'll have this felony conviction on my record for the 3 years of probation, and then he guaranteed me that I would be getting my rights as a citizen back, and I'd have to go to court in Bisbee, and I could get my rights back for voting and my gun rights and everything like that, and become a normal citizen again after my 3 years of probation was up.
Did he discuss any repercussions that employers won't hire you and the military wouldn't take you, many other repercussions of having a felony conviction?
He never mentioned anything about employers or military or anything that's going to happen furthermore in the future with the felony on my record.
And did he explain to you anything about the charges, that you know what the charge was?
Hey, I still don't know exactly what the firm charges. Like I've never heard what exactly the firm charges against me. I haven't read any of that paperwork or anything. I don't have any documentation whatsoever from my lawyer.
So did you ask him for documentation?
Yeah, I've asked him several times, and there's some law that he keeps talking about, and this law that he's talking about, he says that he could show me the documentations that he has, but he can't print them off and give them to me.
He said that it was illegal for him to give you documentation concerning your case?
Yes.
Okay. And then in saying that you'll get 3 years probation if you plead guilty, did he guarantee you it would be 3 years probation, or that if you signed the guilty plea that maybe it would be 3 years probation.
He almost guaranteed that he could most certainly get the 3 years of probation since it was only my first offense.
Okay, so then explain that what your decision was and why you made your decision.
My lawyer went off and I kind of forcefully made him go and talk to Dave Robertson so I could have time to speak with John and Connie here at the house. And he took off and went and talked to Dave Robertson. And I was able to speak to John and Connie about this. And after we made a decision, he came back and he pulled out some documentation of a report that I, like a statement that I was giving. And this statement that I was giving, it was very unfactual, and I only got about 2 paragraphs into the documentation, and in this documentation it was totally wrong. Like, it was saying facts of that I jumped out of my vehicle and I pulled my pistol right away and pointed it in their face, and that's very unfactual because I also let my lawyer know is that John Hargrave, the ranch owner here at the house, he was standing here at the back door to the house watching this incident happen, which is just right here from us, is this back door.
You want to come and show what you can see from here?
Yeah.
I don't really know if it'll show it well.
And John was right here, and right where that water tower's at that you can see in the background is right where we were at. Right below there's an H post for the fencing. And right there is where we were at this point. So John had a clear view of what was going on from the back door to the crime of what was happening with me and the illegals.
Okay, so it might not have really given such a good view of it on this video, but it definitely you could see somewhat to that area. But so then while the lawyer was here, John was saying that that he was watching you as the events transpired that morning. Is that correct?
Yes, and my lawyer did not want to hear anything about that.
So did it seem like he didn't believe what John was saying?
Yeah, he was trying to call John a liar, and that's a very steep accusation to call somebody a liar.
Because John was being a witness for you, and he had told me the same thing, that he actually saw as the older man, the illegal, was waving his arms and approaching you, and at that point he saw you pull out your pistol, which is kind of different, I guess, than the scenario that they have.
Yeah, they took my statement and cut bits and pieces off of it and kind of summarized it into a page or so, I guess. I didn't get to read it all, but in this few sentences that I did get to read, a few paragraphs, it was very bits and pieces of what I said in my full statement, and it's not my full statement. It's just paragraphed and made into something that sounds better to them.
But he wanted you to take the plea agreement, but did your defense attorney ever ask you for a complete statement of what happened that he would have?
No, he did not.
So he's going by some statement that the Border Patrol had given him about what you said in order to try to convince you to do a plea agreement?
Yes, my lawyer's never heard my full story, never asked or even wanted to hear my full story when I've tried to tell him.
So now you decided not to take a plea agreement, and now what did you tell the lawyer today?
I kind of put it in my own words, and I told my my lawyer, we kind of got in a verbal argument about it, and I told him to put the plea deal up his ass. That's the only way I can put it.
So you're looking for another lawyer right now, is that correct?
Yes, I'm looking for a different lawyer that will understand my case and actually fight for me and give me an honest fight in the courtroom for justice against this.
Anything else you want to say today?
That I think that everything out here is very wrong. How a lot of people see it is they see us as very militia people, is how they put it, and we're not out here. We're honest living people. We make an honest living of how we are, and we're just trying to do what we're doing, and you need to see it in our eyes and not take it as how it comes out on paper.
So you have nothing against illegal aliens or people in personally or anything like that, is that correct?
Yeah, I don't have anything against any race. You know, I'm half Hispanic myself, and I don't mind illegals coming over here as long as they pay taxes and they work hard just like we do. That's fine. If they come to make an honest living, then let them make an honest living.
So the only reason that you went over there was just to protect your neighbors, basically.
I wanted to protect my neighbors. Yes, that is honestly what I wanted to do. I was trying to protect Cynthia, and I was trying to protect Billy's property as well as my property.
Okay, thank you.